Let's get you the latest update coming from Jammu and Kashmir, and J&K cop Fayaz Ahmed's wife, in fact, and his daughter have been killed by terrorists in the valley. Let's straight away go across to my colleague Sohail joining us on the broadcast. More on this. Sohail, give us more details. Really disturbing news coming from Pulwama. Sohail, can you hear me? Let's go across to Pradeep Datta joining us on the broadcast. More on this. Pradeep, give us more details as far as this incident of J&K cop Fayaz Ahmed's family is concerned.
See, this is another act of cowardice by Pak-sponsored terrorists. Yesterday evening, terrorists marched inside the house of Fayaz Ahmed, special police officer in Jammu and Kashmir Police. They opened indiscriminate fire, killing Fayaz Ahmed on spot. His daughter and wife was critically injured. They were rushed immediately to hospital where they succumbed to their injuries. This is not the first time that during the last few days we have seen that several such attacks had been there on men in uniform. We saw that how last Tuesday, Parvez Ahmed who was there to offer prayers in the nearby mosque. He was walking, and that was the time when terrorists came. And from point blank range, they opened fire on his back. This unarmed police officer was killed there on spot. Last month, in a similar manner, Javed Ahmed, another police officer who was standing outside his residence in Srinagar area, that he was also killed by terrorists. And this shows the frustration among the terror ranks, because they know that in encounter they will not be able to take on security forces. So the best thing is to go for shoot and scoot attack, or go for these cowardly tactics whenever they are sitting with their family member. But the question arises, what has been the fault of the family members? If they call themselves jihadis, they should have been fighting with the security forces rather than just indulging in such act of cowardice where the family member, the daughters and the women are not spared. But more shocking is in fact the criminal silence of Kashmir-centric political party leaders. They are the one who are trying to give them legitimacy and credibility, right? Because recently we saw that how Mehbooba Mufti had been talking about having dialogue process with Pakistan, but nobody is trying to tell Pakistan that stop and end this bloodbath and terror that is going on for the last 3 decades. And it is because of Pakistan that many people are losing their lives. And we have seen that over the period of time, during the last 1 week only, how Pakistan has tried to intensify terror-related activity ever since Prime Minister has extended olive branch towards mainstream political party leaders in Kashmir Valley. But none of these politicians are directly pointing fingers toward Pakistan. Right. They may be condemned, but the token condemnation is not really going to work. They will have to speak out against all these people who are responsible for death and destruction in Jammu and Kashmir. Another act of cowardice, Fayaz Ahmed and his family, daughter and wife, killed by terrorists in Haripagam area in Trar.
Right. Stay on with us, Pradeep. Let me now go across to my colleague Ishan joining us on the broadcast as well. Ishan, really disturbing news coming this morning, and it seems that now these terrorists are just targeting police officers there in the valley, and even their family members are not being spared now.
Well, yes, police had an apprehension that such attacks will be carried out, and that's why we're seeing that when the core group of the security forces got in a hurdle a couple of days back and met in Srinagar, wherein they discussed every security challenge prevalent in Kashmir Valley. One of the important factors and one of the important points that was discussed during that meeting was soft targets. And that's why we're seeing that there has been an escalation in the number of attacks on the security forces, who are particularly at their home, on leave, and have gone, their houses are easy targets. So that's why we're seeing there is a spike in the number of incidents. Now, yesterday when this cop was at his home, somebody knocked at his door, called him out, and that's when 2 militants appeared and opened indiscriminate fire at him. And it was at his house, at his door, that he was shot at, and then his family members were also critically injured while they were trying to fire at him or saving his life. And later on, all of them have succumbed to their injury. Now, we've been told by the security forces that there is an attempt being made to identify these attackers and try to neutralize them. But as of now, as we speak, there are security forces getting into hurdle and trying to assess the entire situation, because there has been a spike in the number of attacks, particularly at the security forces, at their houses. And now we're seeing that easy and what's called a soft targets are being chosen. One has to wait that if there will be further strategy, because preventing such attacks is very difficult, and now there will be some new strategy and formulation that security forces will have to come up with.
Well, absolutely. And Ishan, what have we heard from the political parties in the valley specifically, as Pradeep was also talking about, the ones who said that dialogue with Pakistan is very important. It is something that India should really consider. But look what is happening in the valley since last few days. So many attacks have happened. They have claimed the lives of police officers there.
Well, yes, we haven't seen condemnation so far from the political parties, but J&K Lieutenant Governor has condemned the incident. We've seen that he has come out with a tweet saying that he condemns this incident and the act of terror. Now we have to see whether other political parties will react to this apart from just tweeting about it. But so far there hasn't been any condemnation from these political parties. But since the incident took place during the night time, and we have to wait that what will be their response and what will be the further strategy and course of action, because there are political parties who were backing for talks with Pakistan. It will be interesting to see what will be their stance and after these attacks, continuous attacks.
Right. Thank you very much for the moment, Sohail as well as Pradeep. Appreciate Ishan as well as Pradeep. Appreciate both of you for the moment, for joining us with all of those details. We'll keep coming back to you for more on this big story.